What you're watching here is not just another loud Senate moment. It's a warning shot about what happens when government accountability breaks down, no matter who's in charge.
Senator Graham. You're telling me that there are companies that are listed that receive transportation payments that don't exist.
When I say they don't exist, all they are is registered with the state of Minnesota. They're a slip of paper. They don't exist. They have no office. They have no assets.
So it's a scam.
It's a total scam.
So here's to the people of Minnesota. Your governor, you better answer these questions. What can we do? We can get you here and hold you accountable for the programs you're running in Minnesota. Ms. Robbins, are you here to tell me that the system in Minnesota is broken and you're having a hard time getting people to help you?
Thank you. The system is absolutely broken. There are fraud on multiple levels. There are failures of internal controls. And finally,
you're
we have
telling
help
me your
from the
state
feds.
has not been responsive.
No, they have actively, I would say, harmed whistleblowers who tried to point it out, and they have tried to shut down investigations.
You said fake meals for fake kids.
Yes.
Would it help if you had to biometrically identify recipients of aid, that they'd have to be biometrically identified to prove they exist?
I think it certainly would help. I'm a privacy advocate, so I'd want to understand the details of that.
Well, number one, prove you exist.
Yes, prove you exist, like very basic.
That's not a privacy problem. If I'm going to give you money, is it too much to ask that you prove you exist?
No, that's why we need documentation.
Well, that's coming.
Not attestation.
We're going to fix this. It's coming. We're not going to sit on the sidelines and watch billions of dollars go to organizations that don't exist, rows of daycare facilities that don't provide daycare. It's in Minnesota. Bless you both trying to fix it. Is there any doubt, Mr. Hoke, to the extent of the problem that is billions in Minnesota?
Again, we don't know what the number is going to be. It's going to be, it could be 80 billion if you go back.
You just don't know.
We don't know, but to the point about politicians knowing, so I filed a criminal complaint against Governor Walz for violating the law for not reporting fraud.
I think when you ask the Medicaid services in Minnesota, tell us who you give money to, that's not unreasonable. So what I would think this committee should do, quite frankly, is that we should ask for an accounting. When Minnesota sends wants to get reimbursed for SNAP benefits, are you familiar with the SNAP program?
Yes, sir.
Do you have to provide names who got the benefits, or they just give you a number?
My understanding is that there is a list, and the federal government is trying to get it from Minnesota.
Well, I'm telling you, we can't.
Right, they're stonewalling.
That's right, they're stonewalling. Taxpayers, minority taxpayers, no matter what the color of your skin, you work hard for your money, and the people at the top in Minnesota are trying to perpetuate the fraud, in my view. You can say what you want to about Trump. That's not why we're here. Seems to me that we would want to make sure that a transportation company on paper actually exists. It seems to me that if we want to feed a kid, they actually exist. And you know what? They're not giving us the data to prove that they actually exist. So how in the world can we, as the federal government, allow this to continue? We are not. Ms. Robinson, are you begging us to help you?
Yes, and we're grateful for the help that's come recently from the Trump administration and from our partners here in these committees.
Mr. Hoke, are you begging this committee to help you?
Yes.
Message received. Mr. Weissman, I don't want to waste your time or mine. Bottom line is, we're going to find a way to help the taxpayer. I don't mind. I like feeding kids who are hungry and can't afford to get a meal unless they get one at school. I don't mind helping Medicaid people to get to where they want to go. I do mind when we're getting ripped off. And to the leadership of Minnesota, your day is coming. And if you think it's just Minnesota, Senator Cornyn, you're right, it's everywhere. And we're going to find it. That's the least we can do as managers of these programs. God bless you all.
Senator Lindsey Graham is doing what politicians usually avoid. He's saying the quiet part out loud. Billions of taxpayer dollars may have flowed through programs tied to Minnesota. And according to whistleblowers sitting right in front of Congress, some of the companies receiving that money didn't even exist. No offices, no assets, just paperwork. A slip of paper collecting checks. That's not a paperwork error. That's not a bureaucratic hiccup. That's a systemic failure. And here's the part that matters most. This isn't about left versus right. It's about whether anyone in power is actually watching where the money goes once it leaves Washington. When Graham says, fake meals for fake kids, that line cuts through everything. Because programs meant to feed children, transport Medicaid patients, and support families are being turned into cash machines for people who know how to game broken systems. And when whistleblowers say they were ignored, retaliated against, or actively shut down, that's when this stops being policy and starts being scandal. What makes this exchange explosive isn't Graham's tone, it's the substance. You have witnesses saying internal controls failed. You have oversight requests being stonewalled. You have the federal government asking a simple question: who got the money? And being told, essentially, you can't see that. That should terrify everyone, regardless of party. Because when politicians talk about protecting democracy, this is what they're supposed to mean. Democracy doesn't survive on speeches. It survives on accountability. It survives on knowing where public money goes and who benefits from it. Now, let's be clear about something. Feeding kids is not the problem. Helping Medicaid recipients is not the problem. Nobody serious is arguing against those goals. The problem is when leaders allow fraud to continue because admitting failure would be politically inconvenient. And that's where Governor Walz comes into this conversation. Graham isn't just making noise. He's threatening to force accountability. Subpoenas, public questioning. The kind of scrutiny governors hate because it removes spin and puts facts under oath. And notice what the witnesses are asking for. They're not asking for partisan cover. They're begging Congress to step in because their state leadership wouldn't. That alone should raise alarms. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Corruption doesn't wear a party label. It wears opportunity. Wherever oversight is weak, wherever leaders look the other way, fraud moves in fast. And if Minnesota is stonewalling basic transparency, names, companies, recipients, then Congress has an obligation to intervene. Not because it scores political points, but because taxpayers deserve answers. This moment also exposes a bigger problem in American politics. We're great at announcing programs, but terrible at auditing them. We pass trillion-dollar packages, then act shocked when billions disappear into the void. So when Graham says, your day is coming, that's not just rhetoric. That's the sound of oversight finally catching up, and it doesn't stop in Minnesota. As he said himself, this is everywhere. The real test now is simple. Will leaders welcome transparency, or will they hide behind process and delay? Will whistleblowers be protected or punished? Will Congress follow through or move on once the cameras turn off? Because if nothing happens after this, then every future fraudster just learned the same lesson. The system can be exploited, and no one at the top will pay the price. And that's not a Republican problem or a Democratic problem. That's a democracy problem.